Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited for tonight's guest. Joining us is a truly inspiring leader in the world of personal and professional alignment, Natalie Bouchard. As the founder of the Work and Life Alignment Method, Natalie has transformed the lives of countless individuals around the globe. After spending 25 years working for Fortune 500 companies, she realized that just from achieving, but from inner alignment, harmonizing with your human self, with your higher self. Her approach has helped clients tap into their zone of genius and unlock their potential and thrive in every area of their lives without the hustle and the stress. I can't wait for you to share her journey, insights, and practical strategies with all of us tonight. So get ready and be empowered, be inspired. Please join me in welcoming the incredible Natalie Bouchard. Woohoo! Yes, welcome, Natalie.
I'm so happy to be here.
So awesome. I'm so happy to have you. We are thrilled. And Jake's already saying hi, lovely. So Natalie, what inspired you to create Work-Life Alignment Method?
When did I? Well, quite a few years ago, almost 10 years ago, I had a breakdown. I was in the corporate world. I had what most people would call success. It's like life told us, if we have the great job and we achieve that and we have the kids and we have the you know what I mean? And then we save for retirement and that's life, right? And I woke up one day and I was like, why do I feel so empty? Why do I feel so unfulfilled? And so the journey led me towards becoming a Bob Proctor consultant. And I worked with Bob Proctor and I became a mindset teacher. And I achieved a lot of great things. I manifested the love of my life, 100K months, manifested $1 million home on the water, like all kinds of stuff. It was just crazy. And I was teaching mindset. And then I hit another, like the most biggest void ever. And this got really, really dark. And that's when I started realizing like, oh my God, my whole life, I've been conditioned to go after things, to chase things, and abandoning myself in the process. But I had no idea that I was doing that. And so I'm like grateful for that moment. And that's where the work and life alignment method came in, because now I teach people how to align to the natural energy that they're born with before society conditioned that they should be this or be that. As we talked about this, Cynthia, before the call, it's like our parents are like, you should be this. And the guidance counselor says we should be that. And then we get into the corporate world and they tell you you should be this. And then we hire business coaches that tell us this. And then mindset teachers that tell you to have these affirmations and right? Like it's like freaking overwhelming. And so my method helps us to return back to the energy that we were born with. And that's our calling, that's our gift. And so this method helps to, in a very natural way, and it's all about aligning, yes, the higher self aspect of us with the human side. We have a human side that fears, that thinks it's not enough, that belittles itself. Like we all get those voices in our heads. And then we have the higher self that's like, any day now you can kind of connect to me. Like I'm your calling. I'm your voice of wisdom. And when you do, and you stop listening to all these people outside of you and you actually listen to me, then life will become quite amazing. But for most of us, we never get to live connected fully to ourselves and to live from that power. Yeah.
You emphasize that importance of aligning with the human self, with the higher self. Can you explain what that looks like in practice?
In practice, what I would like probably share is more like, let's look at it this way. Imagine picture a boardroom, like a large boardroom table. and you are the CEO of that boardroom. And sitting at that table are all these different parts of you, all your human sides that you like to make fun of and judge and make wrong, all of your higher self sides. Yes, you have more. You're multidimensional. You're not just one dimension. All of your gifts, all your genius, all of your shadows. And they're all sitting there at the table with you. And now I want you to picture you have been taught by society that some parts of you are not good. They don't fit in that societal box. It's like the small, by the way. And so they're not good. They need work. You probably need more education. You should probably hide those parts of you. And other parts of you, you can let those parts shine. And so you are the CEO, and you only listen and connect with the ones at the table that are acceptable to you. Everyone else you ignore, you avoid, you lock away, you disconnect from, you abandon. You are not conscious of this, of course, right? None of us are. But so let me ask you, a CEO that is disconnected, ignoring, shaming, judging, disvaluing his board members or her board members, what are the chances that CEO will be successful with ease? Slim to none. And this is what happens out there. People are working with 1/8, 1/10. Like they say, we only are working with 5 to 10% capacity of our brain power. Well, really what it is that it's this. We're so detached and disconnected from our true power because we are shaming and judging and belittling it. So these people are working with very little of their power, trying to create success with their love life, with their health, with their work, with their business. They want their soulmate. They want their soul people. Well, your soul people are connected to the wholeness of who you are, which would be that entire board table. And then it doesn't work. And guess what we do? Well, we must hire another coach or do like me and have a half a dozen healing designations. It's over $600,000 working with masters all over the world, trying to figure out how to bring myself into harmony out there. It's the craziest thing, right? It is the craziest thing. And it's like, now we make ourselves wrong. I did something wrong. And so all my programs are about creating inner harmony first, that then opens people up to natural success. So inner harmony means that CEO, you're connected to all aspects of yourself. You're the CEO and you're connected to every single part of yourself. You do not make any of those parts wrong. Like, let's face it, us women and men, we are sexy as F. I'm just gonna say, we are sexy as F when we own things. Like, yes, I'm a klutz. Yes, I still fall on my face. And I get up and I laugh and I smile. That is sexy as F. But if I'm like, I can't believe I just fell like that, there's no magnetism. There's no attraction. When we humiliate parts of ourselves and blame and judge and everything else, it's not sexy. It really isn't. It's not magnetic. It's not beautiful.
Hey, Kevin. So true. So as the CEO at your table, Natalie, how do you define authentic success and why is it so important?
So as a CEO of my table, how do I define
Success.
authentic?
And why is it so important?
You know what is so cool is that once you are in harmony, here's the thing, we have lived most of our lives in our minds chasing things because we think that those things will bring us joy, will bring us, I'm going to make more money. Once I have more money, then I'll be free. I'll find the love of my life. Once I find the love of my life, then I feel good. And so we live most of our lives just chasing things to get things. And so we have no idea what it feels like to actually live in harmony and have all that power. And then what ends up happening is once you're in that power, then I teach life's formula. Life's formula is, I worked with some shamans and these were the best friggin' information that I've ever learned. It teaches life's formula. So no, it's not the laws of the universe. This is not mindset work. I swear to God. It's laws. So what happens is nature, through your obstacles, you, Cynthia, have obstacles in life. I have obstacles in life, and they're actually very, very unique to each of us.
Mhm.
But those obstacles are actually pulling us towards our calling, towards a success that is what our hearts that our hearts desire the most. But we don't trust life. We trust the hierarchy. We trust the system. We trust society. And so I always tell people, once you learn how life works, you will never, ever again, you will transmute all shit into gold. You will understand that life is actually guiding you towards your highest expression right now, which is it's amazing, like that we live in a world like that. But because we've been disconnected from life, we are working against life. And guess what happens when you work against a power that big? It's going to hurt, friends. And I see so many people post things, and I'm like, you're working against life. But when you start working with life, you're going to feel like life's got your back, that the universe has your back, and you start trusting. But how do you trust life if you don't understand the logical principles? And because I'm a logical person, Cynthia, I do not believe in woo-woo. I worked in the banking industry for 20 years, working with businesses, thousands of business owners. You know what I mean? I am a very logical, grounded person. And so there is no woo. These are processes that are extremely grounded, that help you to trust life. Once you trust life, once you're in an inner harmony within yourself, yes, of course, the CEO of your boardroom, a board table, is bringing you towards natural success and authenticity, like a life that your mind can't keep, like your mind cannot begin to figure that out. You can't. Yeah.
So, what are the biggest problems you've seen with people facing with trying to do their personal and professional lives together?
You know, I love that you asked that, because like as I was working with thousands of entrepreneurs, many of them, you know, I'm talking about, like, I've reviewed 20 to 30,000 financial statements across North America. Like, I mean, I was really involved in this. And so what I saw was the people that went bankrupt, the personal stuff that was going on was huge. And it was all related to relationships, professional relationships and personal relationships. And so that's the biggest component that people don't realize, but all relationships are actually sacred. They're working with life to guide you towards your calling, towards your greatest life. But what do we do when we get into a bump or a problem with a relationship? Then we're blaming, and we blame everyone. It's his fault, it's her fault, right? It's the government's fault, it's the economy's fault, right? And this ends up, and I've seen so many entrepreneurs like fail. And honestly, it is not normal for 88% or 80 or 88% of businesses to fail in the first few years. This is not normal, because if we keep trusting society as our way of like becoming successful, yes, then you're going to fit in that statistic. It has to be that way. When you align in inner harmony and you start working towards success in a natural way, you're guaranteed success. But here's the thing: can you trust that the success you're going to attract is something bigger than you? Can you trust that what you're going to attract is going to be something that you're like, I had no idea I wanted this? Can you trust that? Right? And so that's what I'm very passionate about, as you can see.
So beautiful. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what you should be thinking about. I hope you have your pen and papers out for these nuggets, because Natalie helps people find their zone of genius. So what does that mean, and how can everyone here and in the future that view this find their zone of genius? Discover theirs, work towards it.
Yeah. So when you align to your inner harmony, when I was talking about the boardroom, there are aspects of you, you have different sides of you. Well, there's parts of you that you are belittling and making wrong. These are genius aspects of you that you have made wrong because they're different from society. They don't fit in that little box. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm in masterminds with like some of the top individuals around the world, and the titles that they have and the types of business they have are so unique that you can't, and that's why they do so well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's why, like, even my business, nobody has my methodology. Nobody does business the way I do. You couldn't find it. And that's because it's an expression of my entire soul and calling. You see what I mean? And that's why I want to bring people towards their own. But until we stop judging like I'm telling you right now, I would say 99% of people are judging and making their genius wrong, and they're actually trying to heal their genius.
Ouch.
That's the craziest thing, because it doesn't fit the box. It doesn't fit the mold. And that box and mold, apparently only 2% are geniuses, right? Well, it's because only 2% could be geniuses in that box.
You've worked with Fortune 500 companies.
It's like there's more to life than all
So
this.
how do you align the corporate? But how do you align it? How do you get that? So you've worked with 500 Fortune companies. So how do you get that to align the corporate environment with that personal coaching with you to get out of that, to find your personal zone of genius?
I work with people on a personal level. Yes, they're CEOs, they're corporate individuals, all of that, but it's on a personal level. Once they are aligned on a personal level, things open up. They connect to the visionary, and they start realizing, most of the time, they start realizing that the vision isn't quite exactly what they wanted. And then they start changing the vision in alignment with who they really are. And then things open up with so much ease and so much flow. And then I don't teach people how to be the CEO of their company. I don't know how to be that for their company. Only they know how to do that. But once they're in inner harmony happens, once they're in alignment, watch them go. The radiance, the vibrancy, the sex drive. Like, think about it. You are now operating in full power. You can, like, my clients will lose 20 pounds. No problem. They're like, I swear, I did not change my diet. I didn't change anything. I'm just living more. And because I'm living more, I'm not binge eating, for crying out loud, right? And then the radiance and magnetism, they're attracting better people, better employees. You know how many offices I've been in, and the employer's like, Natalie, oh, it's so hard that there's no good employees out there. And I'm like, it's hard to attract great employees if you don't look at your own energy. Okay. Like, you know, it's like Taylor Swift's song. It's me, I'm the problem, it's me. You know, like, we gotta kind of look at that. Like, I had to do it. We all had to do it. And it's not that we need to fix ourselves or change ourselves or do anything. That's not what it is. It's that we are just not in harmony. We're judging aspects of ourselves. We need to return to this embrace of who we are. And when you do, the amount of power that moves through you, the confidence that you have, because I swear that the reason why so many of us lack confidence and magnetism is because you should hear the chatter in their heads. It's like, how do you operate? Like, I used to lie there at night, couldn't sleep because it was so loud, you know? And now it's like so quiet. And I could hear the wisdom. I could hear the different things, right? So, yeah.
Can you share a personal story about a time when you were out of alignment and how you realigned yourself in your life?
Oh my God. You know what's so funny is that I don't know how many times I have been in alignment and out of alignment and in alignment and out of alignment. The funny thing is that this methodology, I finally finalized it last year. Because most of my life, I didn't even realize, like, I achieved some really big things, but I have also lost some really big things. Like, I swear I have been. And so here's one. Let's talk about my athletic journey, because the athletic journey it's something that everybody thinks I worked really hard at. So I remember, like, I was well over 200 pounds with my pregnancies, and I decided that I would work with this bodybuilder to transform my body. And it was interesting because I felt like I started doing mindset work, and I started to like really start to fall into alignment with who I was in that moment. And I always wanted to be an athlete when I was a child, but my parents couldn't afford it. And so there's a part of me, like there's parts of me that wanted to be an athlete. So here's this moment where they're like, you know, Natalie, why don't you try to become an athlete? And like, I literally did not look like an athlete. Okay, I swear, if you guys would have saw those pictures.
We have a couple pictures. Eric, will you pick them up? Yes. You want to say hi to both of our Kevins? We have another Kevin that joined us, Grigwowski. Hi, and look at this. So here she is. You want to talk us through what your alignment here? You were a little on the heavy side, and then you were on the most perfect side in the world.
Yeah. So when I started that journey, it was interesting. Like, I felt like this pull, and I felt this calling. Like, I started to feel so aligned to every aspect of myself. And what that looks like is like, picture like there's parts of me at that boardroom table. They're like, we're not eating like that. We're not moving like that. And so I was kind of keep tweaking and aligning myself to fit, and so that there's this harmony that would happen with all parts of myself. And the craziest thing happened. It was like I was just like lit up. I was smiling. I was like, I couldn't wait to do like workouts. I couldn't wait. Like, it was the craziest thing. Like, stopping me would have been worst nightmare for me. And I won the first competition in provincials, then nationals, and I got to world stage and came in third place. Yeah. And then I was in all of these magazines, and I'm like, what the frick is going on? Like, I never planned any of that. Now, the second year, somebody said you should compete again and try to come first. There's all kinds of disharmony. And I remember, like, I was pushing it and forcing it. I injured myself. I was smoking on the side to try to keep up because the cravings were so bad, because I already promised that I was going to be on that stage. I was like stressed out. I was so hard. I came in like 10th. With all of that work, all that pushing, all of that, it just nothing. And that's what it feels like when there's this disharmony, but you're still pushing and forcing because they told you should, because you're an athlete now, you're a professional athlete, you should compete. But meanwhile, it didn't fit. And so I kept forcing and pushing. And that's a perfect example of what it feels like when we're living in alignment, operating, and all this natural success starts to open up in ways that you're like, holy shit, I had no idea that this was even possible for me. And then when we try to force and make it happen, it was like the hardest thing ever. I didn't want to like do the workouts. I didn't want to, it was like pushing and forcing. So imagine like 3/4 of my boardroom table were like, we don't like that vision. We do not want to do this. And I still forced it. So it was like, yeah, that's what it looks like. And most people are living that way, right? They're waking up every day, oh, that alarm clock, going to the job that sucks the life out of them because they have to, right? And so they live a life that they have to. And it's funny because people are like, don't you like celebrate holidays and all that stuff? I'm like, Christmas and that's it. Everything else is a holiday whenever I want to have a holiday, not when the system or society tells me, hey, today's Valentine's Day, so maybe you should celebrate it. No, I'm going to celebrate it when I feel like celebrating. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how I operate.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for Valentine's Day to tell someone that you love them. You should be doing that every day as it is.
Exactly. Right. I don't revolve around what the system says. And so there's quite a freedom to live this way. And it really happens once you are in alignment, once you have the harmony, you don't fear the system. You don't actually, you become creative because you're like, let me dabble in this system. Let's play in this system. Now you're not being played by the system. You're playing in the system, right? Like I'm going to be on a TED stage and I had to follow a system to get on. And I mean, I was invited, but what I mean is like I had to follow, there's rules that my speech had to fit in, but it was like this is play, this is fun, this is like, I want to do that, I want to be part of these things, and the things that are not in alignment, then I don't, right? So, but when you're living in the system, feeling like you have no choice to be in the system, ouch. Do you know what I mean? That's not how we were supposed to live. We were supposed to live like outside the system and then decide where we want to play in the system. And work should have been play. Sorry. That's why it's work and life alignment. When you're aligned to your calling, like sometimes I could put some work. And some people could be like, oh my God, you're working hard. And for me though, I'm like so lit up, like there's nowhere I'd rather be. Like literally, I'm like so lit up. I know what hard work looks like. I have done the cubicles and the office work and the boardrooms and everything else, and being like, oh, that's hard work. Right? And even if you're not working hard, it feels hard. Because it got to a point where it was easy because I knew it so well, but it felt so hard. It felt so heavy. Do you know what I mean? And I couldn't wait for my vacation. And then you're on vacation and you're not really enjoying the vacation because it's going to end soon. And then you're going to have to go back to that life. It's like, now it's like, well, vacation and life is like this. There is no line of demarcation. It's like, I can take this work and go anywhere, right? So we get to create that, our lives any way we want to. But first we have to ask ourselves, do you want it? Yeah.
Eric says, good evening and God's blessings to all. And Kevin Blake Weldon says, Natalie's helped me to see that about myself. Isn't that beautiful? But for those not there yet, how can they begin processing and aligning their lives if they're feeling overwhelmed or stuck? Because obviously you prance out of bed most mornings, but I know that getting up in the morning thing for some of those jobs, you're just like, snooze. We don't snooze anymore though.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, it's the first is desire. If you have no desire to live a different life, you can't live a different life. So the first step is desire. Like I woke up one day and I desired to live a different life, right? And so if we don't have desire, nothing can change. And so the first step is desire, and not desire to get something. Desire to really connect back to like all those aspects of you at the boardroom table. Like there's a difference between desire to chase something because you think once you have the body, you're going to be happy. I'm here to tell you that I was named 40 top bodies over 40 and my ex-husband didn't even want to touch me because that's how toxic my energy was. Okay. I'm the second year. Remember that second year? So, I'm going to tell you right now that a lot of the things that we think that we need to have, like the money and the love and all those things, the body or whatever, those are surface things that we're chasing because we think once we have those, we'll be happy. The truth is you are born with a calling. You are here for a reason. Life remembers your imprint. Life remembers why you're here, even if you forgot. And life is setting these obstacles in place for you to see them. You can ignore the obstacles and life will get really hard and you're going to keep tapping on that alarm clock and it's going to be hard to wake up every morning. Or you say, hey, I desire to return home to that energy, to love myself fully. Like this is what self-love is. When you can love yourself enough to reconnect to every aspect of yourself and to fall in love with every aspect of yourself, then trust me, everything's going to open up for you. Because the only reason why we're saying yes to these lives is because we don't love ourselves. We don't. We can't. You've got one life.
Yeah. And you want to open your eyes and go, I get to do this today. I get to go interview Natalie Bouchard. I get to mess up her name and go, oops.
Yes. And we get to laugh about it. And that's okay. And it's very magnetic.
And you're like, okay. And that is fun. And then you go, oh, okay, we broke the moment there and it's so fun. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you studied under such experts. So she studied under all these experts and she's bringing all this wisdom to you. You studied what?
But I had to
Energetic,
unlearn a lot of it.
ancient wisdom. How do these disciplines influence your approach to helping the rest of the world?
Well, I had to unlearn a lot of things.
That's a
That's
big
the
trip.
thing.
How
Like,
do you do that?
nobody out there, I'm going to say it right now, there are no psychics. We're all psychics, by the way. It does not take a psychic. All they're doing is reading your patterns. And then based on their I'm psychic too. Like, and on those based on your patterns, I know where you're going to be in 6 months to a year. Okay, so here's the thing: stop looking outside of yourself for answers. This is very sacred. You have a connection with the universe, with God, with this higher power, divine, and you're connected. And nobody knows this connection but you and the divine, you and God. Nobody. So don't be looking out there in a book to find this out. What I love to teach is life's formula, because life is reconnecting you back to that source. You disconnected because society, the hierarchy, the way it works here, and you know, it even says in the Proverbs to not worship other people and things, and we are worshiping the society and the system, and not life, and not our connection, right? And churches as well. Like, there's all of these things, right? But I don't want to, like, there's spirit in everything, there's perfection in everything. But we sometimes disconnect ourselves to fit things. And so the system I teach is to help you reconnect to life and show you how life is actually already guiding you towards that connection, that source connection. So I had to unlearn a lot of everything that everybody was teaching me about their own calling. It's great. Okay, there's your calling. And I know a lot about other people's callings. It's great. But I don't want to teach people my calling. What I want to teach you is how I connected to my calling. And that's through relationships in life. Because relationships in life are guiding you towards that reconnection. And once you're reconnected, I'm telling you, you don't have to force. You do not have to push. You don't have to be persistent. You don't have to be consistent. You don't have to try anymore. You are connected. Try to stop me. Like, literally trying to stop me right now would be really hard. I have the back of my calling, the universe, and it's guiding me. It is so powerful that even people, when I get really into it, I don't even notice people. It's like, I'm like, I'm like right in it. And that's power, right? But that's why I could tell people, like, I mean, God, I don't know how many coaches I've hired. And it was always like, oh my God, help me figure this out. Something else is wrong with me. Something else needs to be healed. It must be my tough childhood. Because I had quite the childhood growing up. They definitely called us Hicks, and that sort of thing. And I used to blame it on all these things. And no, that's a blessing. That was part of the calling. How else would I understand people if Natalie just like that shifted, you know what I mean? Connected to her calling. And that's it. How could I teach people? No, I mean, I went, I'm 48 now. And going on 48, I'll be 48 in January. I'm getting used to saying 48. And and it's like, there's nothing I love more. There's just nothing I love more than to connect people to their calling. Yeah. But I needed to go through those things and understand what disharmony meant. And boy, did Natalie chase success. Anybody that knows me knows that Natalie loves success, chased success, and had some great big wins, had some really low moments where I had to start over, all of that. So yeah, I kind of relate with a lot of people because of all of this highly experiential life that I have.
It's a great log. Oh, look at Eric. You get to be 48 for long. Don't get used to get too used to it. Dan Altmeyer says, being Jay, I'm going to what? Dan Altmeyer, being the best that the best you magnifies the power that you can realize your destiny. Jay Skinner, he's going to what to enjoy this way he's driving? Yeah, you can just replay it, Jay. Get home safely and then listen to it again, share it out, and listen to Natalie, and maybe sign up for her course, because we'll tell you about that at the end, because she is amazing. She's done a lot of other things, but you mentioned that success doesn't come from force or hustle. So what advice do you have to get people to work harder? They're not listening to that inner voice to succeed. They're like, our parents, you have to work hard and push in the universe, and you got to do this, and and our people in the United States, it's I only got 3 hours sleep last night. I'm like, that's not a good thing.
And again, I didn't sleep much last night is different than I didn't sleep much last night. There's a bit of a difference between those two, because there has been sometimes where I'm so lit up and pumped about things that I'm like, oh my God, I'm not sleeping, but the energy is like the life force has just got me lit up. Like the magnetism, the radiance, the life force energy starts to move through you. Like, this is why I want people to be connected to their calling, because I'm telling you, you'll never try again in life. You'll never force again in life. Now, if I feel like I'm forcing something, Cynthia, I'm like, yep, I'm misaligned. There's this flow, there's this magic that happens when you are in alignment with the thing that is in front of you. And when there isn't, if you could just picture like life or the universe or God saying like, just stop. Just take a break, breathe, bring back, get reconnected to your breath. But we have to realize that most of us are either stuck in the story of procrastination, why we're procrastinating, why we're not doing the thing, or we are like, go, fast. I did the to-do list. Look at me. I'm so good. I did this whole to-do list. We're doing those things because we're disconnected from our disharmony. We don't want to feel it. There's a very big difference from like, because I don't do to-do lists and all that sort of stuff. I feel the inspiration and move with the inspiration. And there's a very big difference. My mind is not going to guide me in my life. My mind's a tool. It does not decide what I'm going to do next. My mind only knows how to build things with the same bricks over and over again. I don't want that, right? And so it's important, like every day. But again, if we don't have the inner harmony, then we close our eyes and we're like, oh, and then we feel it in our bodies and we feel the disconnection in our bodies. And a lot of us don't want to stay silent with ourselves or be with ourselves. It's the minute that we do, we can feel it. The thoughts come in, the chatter, the uncomfortableness in our bodies. And so we busy again. And then we eat. I was a binge eater. Eat. Work. Drink alcohol. Go to parties. Lots of parties. Keep yourself busy. Don't feel. Yeah. And then one day, 10 years ago, I had a nervous breakdown because you can only go that. And it was the best thing ever for me. It's the best thing ever because something had to like snap me out of that. Holy shit. Like I was go nonstop, doing everything to avoid being connected to myself. So something had to like stop that. And so I'm very grateful.
Lorna Ferguson says, let go and trust the flow.
Yes.
Thank you, Lorna. That is a good one. You've got a lot of tools in your toolbox. I was listening to one of your YouTubes or podcasts, and you talked about the gene keys and human design factor. How does that work into the alignment process?
I don't normally bring in gene keys and human design until clients are in harmony with themselves. The first process is really truly trusting life, understanding life's formula, that life is actually guiding you towards your calling, using your unique obstacles. So the first thing I ask my clients are like, what's going on? What is life trying to share with you today? You know, and they laugh because they know why. I'm here to be a conduit to that. I'm here to be power to that, to help. Do you know what I mean? And to channel that. And so that's like, I focus on that. Next, relationships. All right. How are your relationships? How are your relationships with your dog, your people, your employees, your, right? But it's very, like, it's right. It depends. And also we go deeper because there's a lot of people avoid relationships, or they're anxious in relationships, and they don't know that the relationship, like, I'll hear people, for example, they'll say, you know, I had a friend and she went through a really bad breakup, and she's like, he's narcissistic and he's this and he's that, and she's the victim, right? Yeah. And all this blaming, here's the thing, all this blaming is holding her in that stuck energy. But the truth was, I spoke to her like recently because we were doing some work together, and she's like, I can totally see now. I can totally see that I was abandoning myself and then mad that the world and my work and the people were abandoning me. And I can see now that I wasn't honoring myself, but then getting mad and expecting other people to honor me. She's like, oh my God, that's what life was trying to teach me. And so now her calling, she teaches methodologies around abandonment issues. Imagine that. So she's built all these things around abandonment issues. And the thing is that this is what's so cool about this, you know, it's just so really neat.
It is really neat. There's so much we can learn from you, Natalie. What are some of the common misbeliefs that people use?
Oh, sorry, we talked about the gene keys in human design, and then we do the human, and then we also have, part 3. There's so it's trust, life, relationships, and then part 3 is your intuition. You have an energy that is being expressed through your body. And if you were to close your eyes right now and actually just did a scan from head to toe, and you started like connecting to certain aspects, you would feel certain parts of your body has like contraction. Maybe you feel expansive. Just like go to wherever that your body is asking you to go. And if you were to go to that place, and if it feels contracted, if it feels tight, if it feels stiff, ask it what it needs. Ask it or ask for its wisdom. Like see yourself going from your head to that place in your body. It's really important. Bring your consciousness. Say, mind, I need you to, you're a tool, and I'm going to use you as a tool. So you're going to go into the body, and you're going to connect to that part. You're going to connect to that part in my body, and you're going to feed me the information that is in my body, and you're going to share that with me. And that information, mind, you are going to take that information and you're going to program that in your mind. You are not going to take other people's affirmation and program in your mind. You're going to take the wisdom that is locked up in every cell of your body. The subconscious mind is in every cell of your body. Why are we up here trying to figure out things? The intelligence is in our body. So once we connect to that intelligence, we connect to our intuition, we get the wisdom, we're connected to our higher self. So once you have those 3, intuition, relationships, and you trust life, because let's face it, relationships, if you don't master relationships, every obstacle or challenge in life has a relationship involved, right? So once you have these 3 things, you're living in harmony. And then from there, I'm like, okay, now do you want to really play? Then we can go into gene keys and human design. Now we go into those things. There are a lot of people that have done gene keys and human design, and they have certifications. And they come to me because of the first aspect that they never learned. Because let's face it, it's just information. If you don't understand how life is guiding you, gene keys and human design is just another piece of information. If you don't understand how your own body is communicating its wisdom to you through this vibration, then it's just information. If you don't understand how these relationships in your life are guiding you towards a much higher purpose, then it's just information, right? And so for me, I'm like, I'm not teaching you the fun information. It is fun though, but I'm not teaching you this information until you have the other three, because quite frankly, if you don't have the other three, that information goes nowhere. It doesn't really do big things in your life.
How does energetic work help clients achieve their breakthroughs in their personal and professional lives?
So how does
energetic work
okay
help your clients achieve breakthroughs in their personal and professional life? Because you do these steps, and then what happens?
Yeah, like energetic, energetic is just the energy. Like it's just the connection to energy. It's the thing behind every word. It's the intention. It's the energy behind our words. It's the intention. It's the energy behind why we do what we do, say what we say, go where we go, all that sort of stuff. And so energetics is when we really connect to the energy, is really like when I help people connect to the body first. And then when we understand like life, energetics is unknown, right? It's the energy of the unknown. So when I'm teaching them about life and how life is guiding us, well, that's the unknown, that's energetics, that's the energy. And it's also for them to go into the feeling, to add value to the thing that is not being seen. Because that thing that you're not seeing, that you're not giving value to, is the thing controlling your life. And so it's important for you to understand how to understand it, how to communicate it. And so that's what we do a lot in our groups. The clients get really good at communicating that energy. They're feeling something. They saw something. And so the clients get so good because they're like, I was in the boardroom today, Natalie, and it was so amazing. They were all saying these things, but I asked them and I'm like, I feel like I need to address the elephant in the room here. These are not the problems. I feel like there's something else, because they could feel the energy behind the words. And they're like, yeah, that is. And she won the deal, of course, because they felt this connection with her. Like she's like really connected. She was really like connected to what really mattered to them. Most of us are talking what we need to talk about because society says this is what we need to say. This is how we need to sell. This is how we, right? But when we're really connected to the energy behind it, the energetic, now I'm really connecting to Cynthia. I'm really connecting to people, connecting to the heart of them. And when we're connected to the heart of people, that's like why, like my clients and I are like this, it's all soul people. And we get so connected because now we're like going to the energy. That's who they are, energy. You are energy. I am energy. We're so much more than this body. We're so much more than this conversation. We're so much more. Right? But why are we not connected to it? Because we're so afraid, because the system says you shouldn't. I mean, energetics, I mean, that's not a thing. I'm like, what do you mean everything is energy? You break down our body, it's subatomic particles. I mean, it's all energy. We are energy. That's all it is. All there is energy. So if we don't understand energetics, we're missing an extremely important component of being human. And a human that is here to live in the magic, because the magic is the energetic, it's the unknown, right? But then we don't know how to play with that magic. And I always say to clients, like, I'm a magician, I just say, but behind every magician, like their tricks or whatever, the world's like, wow, that's such a great magical trick. It's like, well, there's a process, right? There's something, there's a process we follow. And then it creates magic for everyone else. But the truth is, we're like, I could do that again, and I could do that again,
Mark Gassett shared this out, and so did Eric B. Flanoy, and we thank you for that. Mark Gassett says, sounds very interesting, Natalie. We all need that special place to find self. Thus, we're all students of life. The daily process never stops. And now's the time to listen to Natalie. And
everybody says students of life, But one thing I do want to say that he brought up students of life is life is not teaching us a lesson. I really want to share this. I want you to picture life is pulling us towards our greatest life, our greatest calling, our greatest evolution, but we have a human side that's like, no. And that's what creates the obstacle. So when they say we are in our own way, we truly are. It is our human self side of us that we're often not conscious of that creates the obstacles. But life is pulling us in a direction that is what we always wanted. How many of you got fired and then you're like, that was the best thing that ever happened? The relationship failed. And you're like, that's the best thing that ever happened. Right? Like, but at first it was like, what? No, it was a big obstacle. It was a big challenge, right? So I just wanted to kind of share that, because it's like we tend to like think that life is like, I don't know, like punishing us or I don't know. And I'm like, there's none of that. There's no teaching lessons. There's none of that stuff. It's really not like that. It's truly not like that. I just want you to picture like life, God, love, and light. It's just love and light. It's light. And I talk about enlightenment. Enlightenment, all it means is that you allow light in. That means the human you is not blocking light, truth, from obstacles and challenges, that truth. Your human self is always blocking that. So that means that you're aware of the human you because you're reconnected. You're now living in harmony. So now you're connected to that human you. And now you're like, you can influence the human you to not block the light so that you can receive the truth, feel the truth. Then you become an enlightened person. It's not very complicated to become enlightened. But when you understand how to flow with life, and I talk about this, Cynthia, if you look at the modern woman, she's very hard on the outside and very soft in the inside. And the reason why she's very hard is because she's not solid in the inside. And we're not solid in the inside until we trust life, we trust relationships, and we trust our intuition. If not, I'm going to stay hard. I was hard most of my life. Like I was called a bitch most of the time in the corporate world. Like I was a shark. And the reason why it's hard, but I just want to share this, that what makes women spectacular in today's era is not strong, independent, resilient, because let's face it, you kind of have to be now. So it's not like, you know what I mean? But you know what makes a woman spectacular now is when she can be relaxed into obstacles. Like she's relaxed and playful because she trusts life. And so now she's like more relaxed and playful, and she's moving forward. Relaxation is a state of being. It is not a doing. Like I'm just going to do this relaxation and I'm going to turn everything off. And the only reason I am relaxed is because I turned everything off because everything's pissing me off. And I'm going to feel guilty that I am relaxing because I shouldn't relax because you know what I mean? That's not the relaxation I'm talking about. The relaxation I'm talking about that is very, very gifted, that's very evolutionary, is when you can be very playful. And you can only be relaxed and playful when you're soft on the outside. And you can only become soft on the outside if you become solid in the inside. And solid in the inside. Wow. Watch what happens in life. Now you're attracting all your soulmates, your soul people, all of it. Like it's because you're soft, you're receiving, you're enlightened, you're receiving light. When you're hard, you're not receiving light. You're not receiving light. You're like blocking it.
Oh, that was so good, Natalie. Did everyone get that? Doing it the hard way.
The most revolutionary thing for women right now is to learn how to become soft on the outside, solid in the inside, and so that you can relax into things. Because think about it. If I'm avoiding and reacting, it's not good. It's not good for the body, not good for your relationships, not good for your business, not good for anything. But when you relax into things and be playful and curious about the things, now it's
Yes, I love it too. What changes have you seen in your clients after they have aligned their lives, and how long does it typically take? Okay, guys, is this like a week, few weeks, 8 weeks? I know it's a lifetime, but how does your program work?
Yeah, well, I do have a program that is an eight-week intensive. It is doubling in price soon. If you guys are interested, send me a message. But it's like so revolutionary. It works on those three components so that you can learn how to become soft on the outside, solid in the inside, trust relationships, trust yourself in relationships, trust life fully, and let life guide you towards your calling. And then also how to connect to your body and your intuition. So it's an 8-week intensive and it's 11-11. Like literally, this is custom, one-on-one. And we meet every week, integration on top of it. Like it is literally like for 11-11, you will never find anything. And especially not of this type of program on top of it. But that is like the creme of the creme. And then when people want to like get to, if they want to like align to their calling, they want to go into the gene keys and human design, they want to take it further, then they can do that. But what ends up happening in the 8-week is they will feel like I have clients, like I have people that signed up and have already done the one-on-one with me, but they're like, we haven't even started because it's on November 18th that we're starting this next 8 weeks. And she's already sending me messages saying, holy shit, already things are already starting to open up from our one-on-one. And yeah, and it's just, she's starting to feel lighter because she came to me and she felt, just worried about a lot of things. And now she's already feeling, and we haven't even started the 8 weeks. So you can be guaranteed after 8 weeks, yes, you will feel this like click, this inner harmony, this like knowing and being like, oh my God, this entire time I was fooled by the system. I was connected to the system and now I'm connected to this. And it's like, wow, this is crazy, right? And then, and then the next level, and it's very different for all clients. Like I have clients that have moved, they've changed everything around, moved across the globe, and now are living a whole different life. I have clients that have doubled their income. And it depends on people's soul and calling, right? Again, for some people, it's like meeting the soulmates and soul friends or soul clients. I have one, she's a mother and she has a business and she like gained weight. She was stressed out. Relationships weren't working in her business. And now she says she works she works 50% less, earns 30% more. And on top of it, she said, because she's now attracting all these great clients. So she's not like overworked like she was before when she was attracting people on her level. Let's face it, on your frequency. So she shifted. So of course now she's attracting this higher caliber, higher quality client. And so she doesn't need as many clients. And so now she could be with her kids more, all that sort of stuff. So it all depends on the person, right? So again, we get caught up with what are the results because society has told you, because that's what society uses as a dangle. Hey, I'm going to get you. I'm going to, like, if I see another ad, hey, let me help you become a millionaire. And I'm like, can we stop with the getting and the chasing? If you can, there's nothing wrong with becoming a millionaire. I'm not saying that. Once you live in harmony with yourself and you return home to yourself, then let's see what your goals are. Let's see where you're going, what your vision is. It's going to look different. It's going to have a different, and it's going to be like, wow, I didn't know that this is what I wanted. You know what I mean? And that's what I get excited about. And then they're lit up and they're feeling amazing and their relationships are all transforming. You can imagine, because now they understand what's going on with relationships and the sacredness behind relationships. So that transforms. So I had one client, she only started 2 weeks ago. And already the relationship with her parents have transformed. Do you know what I mean? So, and she's like stressed out by that relationship for how long? And it's already transformed like that. So this is what happens when you can, if you can choose inner harmony. I tell people, you're either choosing to chase and get something or you're choosing to return home to yourself. You're choosing inner harmony. one or the other. But I promise if you start choosing inner harmony, you can be guaranteed the universe has got your back, life's got your back, and everything will open up in ways that you didn't even know you wanted. Actually, you're going to remember and say, when I was a kid, I kind of wanted this. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
What is one piece of advice you can give to someone looking to get a more humorous and joyful life, besides signing up for Natalie Bouchard's free course right now?
The number one piece of advice I can is that check in with your body every day. Close your eyes and check in and see where you feel. If you feel like tense or restriction or anything like that, go there and ask, what does it need? Start connecting to yourself. Get out of here and get into the wisdom and the beauty that is locked up inside of your body. If you can do that, it starts to open things up for you. Yeah.
The wisdom, the beauty, and the all around you.
Yes.
And think about what you're grateful for in that moment when you're doing your body. Because we're so grateful to have Natalie on the Cynthia Manion Show today. We thank you so much. We thank you all of those who joined us today and are going to watch the replay. Share this out. Sign up for NatalieBouchard's.com free course and tap into this. Don't you want to have ease of life? Don't you want to improve your relationships? Don't you want to just, there's no reason to keep banging your head against the door, because you're worth it, because you are amazing. I'm amazing. We are amazing. Hey. Woo! Love you all. See you next time, 7 p.m. on Wednesday.
Bye, everyone. This was awesome.
Woohoo! Amen.